In the deep jungles of Venezuela, a new kind of beast can be seen stalking beneath the canopy. No, it is not the famed chupacabra. It is the Doxa Monster.
Hello and welcome to another installment of Custom Time. Today we're doing something a little bit different. We're going to talk about this fantastic Seiko Monster Doxa Homage, and it was built by my friend Fernando, and I thought that this time around it would be kind of cool to actually have Fernando on with me so he can talk about this watch. So without further ado, let's introduce my friend Fernando, who's on Instagram as DIY Watch and Straps. So hey Fernando, welcome to Custom Time. And I think we've been following each other along for a little over 1 year. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. Like 1 year.
Some amount of time, yeah. But anyway, I thought before we got to get into this watch, you could just tell, talk a little bit about your background and everything. And you're from Venezuela originally.
Yeah, I'm from Venezuela. I moved here to the States a few years ago, and I always have an itch for watches. I think it came from my dad. And yeah, one day I started like, okay, yeah, I would love to have this watch, but with this set of hands and stuff like that. So I said, maybe I can do it myself. And I started buying like the tools and start doing some small stuff. And of course, that hobby starts growing on you, and then you want to more and buy more watches, and yeah, that ended up like like every collector or every watch enthusiast finish like is deep into the watch world.
Yeah. It's actually funny, right? Because you start like something like this thinking that actually maybe you could save some money, right? Like, oh, it's like, yeah, this watch, I like how it looks, but it's expensive, but I could take this other one and put it together and it'll be cheaper. And then before you know it, you spent more money on the hobby than you ever would have on the more expensive watch.
Originally you were supposed to save, right? Exactly.
But it's it's an amazing creative outlet though.
Yeah, and you learn a lot and you get a lot of fun out of it. So it's pretty nice.
Okay, so let's move on to this watch, right? I've said before that this is like probably my favorite Doxa Homage that I've seen, and it's and it's interesting because like at its base, there's not really a great deal done to it, as compared to like when you do an SKX, you end up changing a lot, but this kind of retains a lot of its monsteriness. So
yeah.
Let's just go ahead. Why don't you explain everything that you did to it?
Yeah, I was in the hunt for a Monster case for a long time, always checking on eBay, like a good deal. And I finally won a reasonable price, right? Then it arrived I think it was from the Philippines, but it was all like beat up. The crystal wasn't in a good shape, the crown beat up, right? So I ended up like, okay, let me buy a nice dumb crystal, a new crown, and I had this Soxa lying around on an SKX case.
You mean you already had a Soxa that you build in an SKX case?
Yeah, I actually at first, at the very beginning, I didn't like the Doxas, right? But then I started, I don't know how, like it started growing on me. And then I saw one of your YouTube videos in which you made actually a Soxa. And I said, oh, that looks nice. I could try to do that. And then I bought all the pieces, like the orange dial and the hands, all that. And I put it together. I love the look. But yeah, it didn't quite convince me the shape of the SKX with that combination. So I had that monster in there. I said, maybe it looks good. I might need to sacrifice not having the Doxa style bezel and the bezel insert because of the particular shape of the monster one. But then when I switched it, it just clicked. It was like, oh wow, this make a lot of sense. And for some reason, I think the monster, since the lock to lock is 20 millimeters, it kind of looks. I don't know. I think it is more balanced.
I agree with the narrower strap. It works, and it's just a
Yeah.
much more rugged looking watch.
Yeah, exactly. And not, I'm not sure. And always like when I use bracelets, uh, at least on my wrist, no bracelet looks good except for Milanese, like those small ones,
The
or
mesh
like
ones.
like that one. So I bought that one on eBay, and I put it, and okay, it looks good. I like it, and that ended up being that mod that you are showing right now.
So it really just kind of it wasn't like a brainchild. It really just kind of came together out of the like it evolved. You know, I gotta say about this bracelet. So it's a Speidel, which everyone
Hmm.
knows Speidel by their Twist-of-Flex bracelets that were really popular back in the 50s and 60s, and then are almost like detested these days. But this is not a Twist-of-Flex. I mean, Speedel's been around forever, and they still are very much around, and they're still making bracelets. But this
Yeah.
this is a Speedle, and what I love is it is like a shark mesh or a Milanese mesh, but the mesh is a little bit more substantial looking,
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
the adjustability it adjusts really easily, much easier than the other mesh bracelets that I've seen. And overall, like, how much did this bracelet cost?
Oh, like $10.
And at the same time, like, I think I look at it and it almost looks like one of those Forstner Comfort bracelets, which are like $120 or something like that. It has that
Hmm.
same look.
Yeah.
It has the same level, almost the same level of adjustability, probably a little bit less adjustable, but a good level, and a fraction of the price. And I do not feel this is any less of a bracelet. I think this is a great bracelet, and it just works perfectly with this build.
Yeah, I think it matched good. Oh, and something that I forgot is like for that watch, I went with an E15 from Seiko, unbranded 6R15.
An E15 move a little
Seiko
bit higher level
Instruments
than the standard
movement.
NH35 that most people go with.
Exactly.
Nice. So one thing that actually caught my eye right away about this is the bezel. I actually totally love this bezel. One, the action is fantastic, and I love the grips. I can rotate this thing with just one finger, by just catching it in the grooves on the bezel.
Yeah, no, it's one of the coolest vessels in shape and function, and how it sounds. It's like buttery. It's perfect. I mean, they really did a good job with the monster.
And I gotta say about the monster too, though. Like I actually never really liked it from seeing it, and it's because of the dial. I really don't like the monster dial very much. It's kind of like chunky, and the indices always look kind of
Yeah.
lumpy to me. And then once I had this in my hands with this dial, I just my mind was changed, and it was really just I realized that it's just the dial about that I didn't like about it, and not the rest of the watch. So I've been kind of keeping an eye out for a monster case. I think I'm going to do a Zin U50 homage with it. So hopefully that'll be coming
Oh,
sometime
nice.
soon.
I agree. Before, when I first did that one, I didn't know that you can even find monster chapter rings, because this one doesn't have a chapter ring.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you can find a nice chapter ring, maybe an orange one or something. Might look good.
I looking at this one, I'm not missing anything. Like, look, I'm flipping it all around. I'm looking at the dial from all the angles. SKX013 is another watch case you can install the dial without the chapter ring, but when you look at the edges, you can kind of see on those the gap between the dial and
Hmm.
the edge of the case. But this is not the case here at all. I think this one works perfectly without the chapter ring.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, cool, man. Well, hey, thank you so much for joining me on this. I thought it'd be really cool to have the person who built the watch talk about it, because I kind of talk about my own watches.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me.
One other thing I was going to ask about. So your Instagram account is DIY Watch and Straps, and initially you were doing a lot of your own strap making. Lately, most of your posts have been watch mods. Are you still working on straps? How is that coming along?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I'm doing a couple this weekend
Mhm.
for a commission. I'll post some cool photos on Instagram after they are done.
Oh, fantastic. And then if people are interested in having a custom strap made for themselves, they can look you up on Instagram on DIY Watch and
Oh,
Straps.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
All one word.
IBM, all one word.
Yep. Awesome. Fantastic. And I'll put the information down
Thank you so much.
at the bottom of the video description as well. Awesome, Fernando. Hey, thank you so much for joining me, and thank you so much for
Thanks
letting
for the
me.
invite.
Yeah, thank you so much for letting me play with this watch. It has been an absolute pleasure to wear. It's actually probably the watch that I've worn the most over the last 2.5 weeks or so. So it's very cool.
Nice. Awesome.
All right, watch enthusiast friends, thank you for joining for this installment of Custom Time. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you